It's Friday, which can mean only one thing. EGFC Valorant is back and in full fighting form. My name is Sam Tog. Joining me, the amazing Loki cast. Loki, we got a packed schedule ahead of us today, starting off with Marquette University versus UT Arlington. Going into that afterwards, University of Idaho versus DePaul, and an unfortunate forfeit for our final game of the evening with Delaware going up against Weber, which actually has me really depressed, Loki, because I was looking forward to that Delaware matchup.
It seemed like that would have been a really, really tight game. I'm in my heart.
And the funny part is too, because Loki, you and I, we're multi-game casters. I would have casted a Delaware game 3 times in a row, so I missed out on that opportunity, but there'll be more in the future, obviously, still though. But of course, we're going to be starting off with our game today, Marquette University versus UT Arlington. Let's go ahead and take a look at the standings to see how both of these two teams are going to be faring up against each other and how their season has been looking so far.
Yeah, so up here you can see UTA, one of the best teams in the EGF right now, only being beaten out by William and Mary. UTA kind of maintaining their spot from last season as well, being a newcomer coming right in and just completely throwing the esports in the EGF and up over itself. Marquette, on the other hand, you actually don't see them on the standings board because they've been having some trouble this season. They've only managed to win 1 game so far, and they're trying to see if they can't turn that around here.
And these are the kind of moments where you're going to want that mental boost if you can stand up to UT Arlington. Sometimes really all you can hope for when you're going up against a team like UTA is being able to knock a map off of them and showing them that they're not the dominant force that they think they are, right?
Yeah, I mean, any amount of progress against a team like UTA is huge. If nothing else, it's a great chance to learn, great chance to improve, and occasionally we get to see a huge upset. Speaking of huge upset, we get to see the maps that will be played on. Pretty standard maps for those first 2, Icebox and Haven. Split, though, coming right back at you. We haven't seen it in a minute, but it'll be back. So if we do get to see that upset starting, maybe a map 3, we'll get to go to the long away but not forgotten map of Split.
At the very least, we're not going to Lotus, so I'm pretty happy about that one. Lotus is just full of chaos. Icebox, though, the first map and the pick of Marquette University. So Icebox, the typical sort of VCT map, the one that we always go to, the one map that works very well with team play, but you need to have that team play. You need to have that execution if you really want to make Icebox work for you.
Yeah, I mean, Icebox, that B site especially, if you don't have good macro, you don't have a good execute, you're not getting onto the site. You have to get that stage wall down. You have to get everyone moving quickly. Same thing Indeed with that A site as well. You got to have the correct aggression, especially with all of those, nice sniper posts that you have set around. Looking at the players as well, we can check out who wants to execute those huge macro plays on Icebox.
Indeed so, and I think when it comes to Icebox, you talked about B site, how important that is. The composition that you're going to be going in with is obviously going to be one of the most important things for Icebox to work out well for you, and I think that's why we're going to be seeing more than likely for Marquette, since this was their choice, they have an idea of what they want to do. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a Viper going on to making sure that they're able to secure their way onto B site, and I feel like Sage is an absolute must pick, especially if you do plan on wanting to go onto B side at any point. Having that wall available to you to be able to cut off and to be able to plant on site is one of the most pivotal things that she brings to the table. Now we get to see what exactly our players are going to be bringing. And of course, there it is. Like I said, Loki, yeah. I saw the future. Wait a minute.
I mean, well, maybe not.
Wait a minute.
We've seen a couple teams go into Icebox and EGF without a Sage before. And long story short, it's been a struggle because, the other team knows you really only have the one site that you can attack. You can really only go strong onto A site. And so with that knowledge, they're able to just sit back, bring another player or sometimes 2 over on A, just do that one person to kind of look at B and then play retake super easily. And UTA is going with almost a picturesque Icebox comp. Really the only thing that's mixing it up is the fact that they have a duelist. Marquette, on the other hand, looking to Maybe try
I
something
don't know.
new. There's a Killjoy, which I like Killjoy on Icebox. I think she's really useful.
I think Killjoy's really been starting to come into her own. A lot of teams are picking her more and more often because of the
Select
sight
your
denial that she
agent.
does bring. We're getting in the last 10 seconds here, and Saphirical and Salsi on the side of Marquette still hovering over their agents. Not quite done with the selection just yet, and I think we are
All right,
going
yeah.
in with the Reyna. Okay.
So Marquette going for those 2 initiators rather than the standard 2 sentinels. Well, usually actually we do see 2 initiators and 2 sentinels. We see that duelist kind of left behind a lot of the times on Icebox. With the new Reyna changes, we've been seeing her come up a little bit more, sometimes a little bit of Jet, but most of the time it is going to be that 2 initiators, 2 sentinels. This time though, Marquette adopting the very, very aggressive style, bringing forward 2 initiators and a duelist.
It's interesting though with the choice of Reyna, because here's the thing: when you wanted to pick Reyna, right? Look, you're very confident in your skills to be able to frag out, because that's where she really shines the most. That's where her kit really comes in handy. Of course, she does have a blind, really useful for being able to engage onto sight, but still though, for Marquette being in the situation that they are the attacking team. No Sage is going to make getting onto B site, well, not getting onto B site, but securing B site that much more difficult, and being able to plant that much more difficult. So I'm interested for Saphirical whether or not this Reyna choice is going to be the right one.
I mean, it gives you a lot of pressure for this A site. Obviously, you know, B's going to be shut down, but Marquette's chosen this map. They know what their agent picks, you know, how they're going to affect it. And so obviously they're trying to play to just break through that defense, probably get a pick or 2 on that initial attack. And then from there, you can just follow through and play a little bit of defense for this retake. On this pistol round, though, Marquette's playing a really, really soft game.
That they are. You can see that UT Arlington leaned over towards A. Now that a little bit of action is happening there, some members are going to go and support their KJ, who's all alone by themselves. They aren't really dealing with too much right now. Marquette is still going very slow, figuring out what exactly they want to do here. And now Saphirical is going to be joining the rest of the group. Took a little bit of damage and attempted to go onto A side, but now it's all about regrouping and see how far we can go. The turret has been taken out, and so has maybe a little bit of an opening now, and Saphirical able to overheal themselves. This is looking like it working out actually really well for Marquette, this slow play that we're having here. And of course, Saphirical getting another kill in their pocket. Just gets to live a little bit longer, not looking to the right place, but still, they fall. It has been traded out. The only person left on the side of UTA is Crad, but they are Reyna, and if anyone wants to be alive, it is them.
Yeah, Reyna is just about the perfect person to go in for this 2v1. They've still got a heal or dismiss in their back pocket. Almost got timing there, managed to get through. If they can swing on this fast enough, they might be able.
I don't know where she is either.
To line them up 1v1s. They don't.
On
On site, misses the first one. There's Crad.
There it is. The healing comes in. Now they can just survive a little longer. They just need to find a keg. And if Quad is just beautiful. There you have it. UT Arlington able to not only reverse their bad fortunes, but come out on top.
And coming out on top extremely cleanly as well. Crad there doing a great job of countering the strategy that Marquette University had. I think they did a really good job of kind of mind gaming out. Hey, UTA is going to load 4 people up on A. Let's just play it real slow over on B, get a lot of kills in rotation, and just have a really strong execute. And that'll get us, you know, onto site. It'll get us 4 kills. Everything will be good from there. Only issue is it does not deal with Crad. And Crad, as a result, has a Vandal in their hands.
No way. Second round Vandal. That is a Reyna who's confident in their abilities. And after what we just saw, Loki, I am a firm believer in what this player can bring to the table. And of course, once again, you're a Reyna, so you go in with the light shields, you're gonna be just fine. Speaking of just fine, look at that. The kills are coming through from Matcha, who's just chilling out there all the way at the forefront. We're seeing the Stingers coming out. The Stingers did get hit with a nerf back, costing a little bit more, and the damage drop off not as intense as it used to be. But K-Rad, Crad, another triple kill for them. Another triple kill. What is this Reyna made of? I don't know.
That's a round 3 ult with no skill orbs or deaths. Round 3 Empress ready to go. Just off of the back of that amazing play. They've still got the rifle in this hand for their bonus. Only one person on UTA falling and needing to rebuy back up. Meanwhile, Marquette still kind of in the gutter due to that little bit of a force they had last time. They don't really have any money on their table as well. And so they're not ready to buy rifles yet.
That's going to be so rough for them too, especially with the way that UT Arlington is set up. They have the weapons in their hand. Of course, you have Crad, who has been destroying so far at the very least right now. But, of course, anything's possible. We've seen crazier things low-key happen. Maybe is going to take this very far forward position. They know that they have the advantage guns-wise. And so now we're looking towards a little bit of action is going to be happening from Crad. And now we're going to see the Empress pop. We're going to go in, supported, of course, by Maybe. We see a little bit there. Down goes Croatify. And look at this, a pincer maneuver that Machi doesn't even need to worry about. Saucy has the spike in hand. There's nowhere they can go.
No, yeah, UCA doing such a good job right now, recognizing we have an advantage. Let's just push it. Crad with the 90-degree swing as well onto Saucy. And as the rest of Marquette is pincered into this little, B main, that will be all she wrote off of a clean flawless from UTA.
Ooh, that was juicy. They surrounded, they swarmed. It was good map control as well, Loki. You took advantage of the mid pressure. And then going in through A, we had Matcha able to come up with a couple of kills in their own. And so when Saucy tried to regroup and retreat with the spike, well, guess what? 2 of UT Arlington's finest were waiting for them there. They went down, and then it was just a massacre from that point on.
With this, Marquette gonna have their first round at this point with rifles in their hands. UTA still holding on to a lot of Spectres. And Sheriffs to help out on their end. A little bit of fight over mid here as Viper is forced to drop the utility. And look at this though, Matcha gonna get that quick trade before they get traded out themselves. Marquette, person advantage once again, and Crad has fallen for the first time this match.
This could be the opening that Marquette's been looking for. They've done their damage on A, and so now it's time to return our attention. Let's see what we can do over on B. The only thing that you have to worry about on B is, of course, this KJ. She has the swarm grenade set up, so if you're gonna go on there, you really had to make sure you're clearing it out perfectly. And look at it. Look at where it is set up. Immediately going on to site. The swarm grenade's gonna be popped, Saucy's gonna be forced away.
Great KJ out there. Gritty doing a great job of stalling this point, allowing the rest of their team to rotate as they are going on some soft walks. Maybe gonna take down Codified as well as the plant tries to go down again. I don't know that there's another pulse grenade to stop them. Not looking like it. So plant is going to go down, but UTA is starting to regroup in mid and looking to walk over at this point.
They have time, and for Marquette, it's all about setting themselves up by yellow. Time to go on to site. They hit the defuse, but it's gonna pop the swarm grenade instead. Rotating around, down goes the snake bite, but as that goes down, so too does Maybe. Now it's a 2v3 situation. The Spherical is feeling very confident that they're gonna be able to win out on. The trades are coming through, and the time is running out. The only one left alive, the Galaxy Vortex, the KJ, but not for long. Marquette University getting their first round win.
Getting their first round win and putting Arlington back in the bye. Thing with that though, that's not as much as of a gain as you might be hoping, as UTA was still running that round on their bonus weapons. So this is the first time we're actually going to see UTA fully kitted as well. Marquette having to rebuy up in some scenarios there, so they're going to be leaving some util as well as some shields behind. And they have to carry the momentum right here, right now. If they lose another round, they're going to be stuck in a terrible, terrible save. Meanwhile, UTA just continues to build up their already large bank. Look at this. Look at Crad wanting to take this fight right here, right now.
But they knew exactly where they were standing. Spherical had the read on where Crad wanted to hide out, and so now they were able to get the kill. The overheal as well on top of that. And of course, an Empress, if they want to engage, there's so many options available to Marquette, especially with UT Arlington losing Crad, the very initial moments of this round, not what you want to be happening here.
No, already one down, especially when Marquette values this A site over B site. It is huge. Matcha does have that res, but to get to the dead body, they've got to go through this entire Marquette
You
team.
should run.
There
And
is
now
the
found out.
Killjoy.
Yep. There's the Killjoy ultimate. The lockdown has been set up. The recon drone found out the Sage, forcing them away as well on top of that. So now we have an idea. Look at that, though. You've been hit. You've been slowed.
Spike planted.
In comes the shock dart spherical. A lot of members of Marquette University very low on health, but who cares about low health when you land in headshots like what Rain is doing? Hiding out here on rafters. Macho to try and jump down from below. Spherical has to use the dismiss in order to get out, but they don't go very far. A quick tap of the defuse, and now at this point, it's just going on top of it. Quick lineups come in, quick deaths, even quicker deaths coming in. From the side of UT Arlington, on to Marquette. Saucy had no clue what was about to happen to them. Oh, rest in peace, Galaxy.
Saucy, you know, knew that they were going to get a great, you know, Viper's bite there to at least find a kill. UT Arlington doing a great job on that retake, though. That's that massive aggression you can see, and that's exactly why it's really useful to have someone like a Sage who can close off those angles. It took Marquette there so long to get the plant down, but by the time it did, UTA was already stacked, already holding util, already rolling, ready to roll in. And with that huge macro team aggression, there's very little that you can do to truly stand against it. Marquette now on a huge save, so I imagine why they see huge aggression or huge, you know, pacing and soft play. Maybe here creeping up the middle. Saucy gonna take a little bit of a shot in the shoulder there, but does manage to get out with their lives. The Spherical is on a roll at the moment, and that's a Vandal in their hands.
Big weapon upgrade. In comes the Leer. Maybe, though, was more than ready for Spherical to make that swing. And so that momentum swing for them was immediately taken away by the hands of Baby, who's still chilling out in mid. Matcha, meanwhile, the guardian angel of A, hiding out here, waiting for someone to walk by. That someone is Keck, but Keck turns it right back around onto Matcha. And we're actually seeing this, Loki, time and time again. You know, we're in these save rounds, and somehow during these save rounds, these teams somehow do better than what they do with rifles.
Yeah, EGF save round seems to be the best place to be for a losing team.
Wait a minute here. Wait a minute here.
Maybe with the ace? No, Rain, you took it.
Rain.
Watch them run when lit by my sonar.
Maybe had it in their hands.
Strike.
Sad times indeed, but either way, maybe he's not going to be too broken up about a 4K, as well as their Viper's pit being ready to go. Rest of UTA also pulling up their ults. The only person who doesn't have an ult ready and has not had one ready this game, it looks like, is going to be Alec and Galaxy. So we might see a whole lot of X buttons getting pressed this round. Marquette especially needs to be leaning on them right here, right now, or else they risk this half really starting to roll away from them.
Crad, this is going to be very bold of you, my friend, if you decide to engage on that. And indeed, they are. They make a swing, and it actually comes out big time for them. Looking for an opportunity to go into Spherical, but Spherical is going to win out in that duel. Hits the dismiss, knowing that there's someone else going to be there. We'll see if they are going to try and engage here. They want to, but by that point, UT Arlington had already gotten out. Rain is not going to take any chances, not with the loss of Crad. So, Marquette, you see Saucy has the spike on them, but A is going to be tough to get onto.
Codify here. It's going to creep their way onto site. Doesn't look like UTA knows they're there. Right as they almost get there, though, noise is made from that turret, so they have to disengage. The alert has gone. Spherical going to be the one pushing. Again, if they time it right, they have a great pick right here, right now.
They heard it.
The footsteps.
They heard the footsteps. They heard the shots.
So now, UTA in control of B site. They just got to get the spike over there fast enough.
They're going to be able to. And for UT Arlington, they realize that now the rotation is coming in from the last two remaining members. Spherical is holding out inside of Kitchen. Here comes the Hunter's Fury, but Saucy is actually going to be able to survive All 3 of those arrows are not going to find purchase on anybody, and Saucy has to be feeling pretty good about what they were able to accomplish there. Now it's up to Galaxy Vortex to try and make their way on. Rain takes down the turret, and Saucy on top of that. It's going to be a fight here from Snowman looking over there. Croatify very low on their HP, and Keck still hiding out by yellow. This is going to be a very bold moment for them. The turret has been able to find out where Spherical is, right inside of Kitchen. Unfortunately for Rain, they saw where one was, but in doing so, left themselves open for a counterattack. Croatify gets 3 kills in that one, and Marquette not done yet.
Yeah, Marquette's doing a really, really good job with these personal plays. We talked about earlier how important macro is on Icebox. Marquette looking to kind of change that narrative. At the moment, Spherical and Croatify have been absolutely insane. Croatify doing a great job in those post plants, especially when they have a teammate, of setting up those crossfires, and they're able to just roll through them, you know, and just execute it perfectly, which is what really, really needs to happen. UTA there just not quite coming up with it enough, not because of, you know, not because of some big macro play, but just because they weren't able to execute nearly as well as Marquette did.
So we have a pause happening right now, Loki, and I think it is from Matcha, considering that we haven't seen them move yet. And I'm assuming that's why we heard them firing off the pistol. I think they may have been having some issues with some technical glitches perhaps going on, but the pause seems to have been resolved. Everything seems to be good now. Hopefully that for UT Arlington was one of the reasons why they weren't able to go as far as they did. This might be Marquette's time though, to be able to get that momentum back in their favor.
Feeling sight.
We roll right back into it. Marquette not going to be able to have a full buy across their team. It's because they've been having so many deaths round after round. It makes it hard to really start carrying that momentum. But they do still have 4 ults in their back pocket to UTA's 2. UTA didn't find a ton of value off of theirs, but Crad! Saucy! Not fully in cover, not ready for the tiny little peek. And Crad already going to make it a 5v4.
Oh, and Matcha, the heroics, they tried their best. You saw it. A lot of damage went on to R11 3C, and Crad is still putting in the work, still putting in the time, gets 3. Are we staring down the barrel of another possible ace here, Loki? We can only hope. The 4K. There's only one member left, only one to stand for Marquette, and a 1v4. Croatify is now on to site. This is going to be so difficult for this initiator to try and make something happen. You can see that they're dashing all around. And Galaxy Vortex, not wanting to leave anything to chance, saw the opportunity, took it. You really can't be too angry about that one. UT Arlington immediately righting the wrongs of the previous round.
I love it when Empress just turns into a multi-kill ability, you know? Just like, hey, here you go. Go ahead and roll this into 4 kills for me, please. Crad doing an amazing job there to set up their team's success and utterly decimating that round. This game so far almost seems to be a bit of a war between Crad and Spherical of who can be the better Reyna, and as a result, bring their team that momentum and bring their team those huge entry picks.
Need to get those entry picks. They need to happen here. And this is going to be a 3-stack on B, leaning towards it, but the wall comes up from Matcha to deny them that pressure. And so you still have on A site the KJ, making sure that no one's going to be able to get on there. Galaxy Vortex is going to be the one to hold down this site. And so because of that wall, Marquette University is going to lean over towards going back, regrouping, going back towards A. The only one left behind is Spherical, not able to get the shots off onto Matcha, and so now they know that the Reyna has been left behind. So if you're going to make that rotation from B site on the side of UT Arlington, you're going to have to be a little careful.
A bit slow to the rotation. As they run back here, no one's directly looking at A side, so it's going to have to be just a full retank. Viper's Pit is put down, and Hunter's Fury as well, trying to find people out. Croatify almost finds 2, but can't find any, just inches away of getting it cracked.
Oh, Saucy!
Oh, the Saucy's down, and that Viper Pit is gone now.
That is exactly not what you want to happen. Really good shock darts, though, from Croatify. Is Crad, okay, if Crad was going to get another 4K there, I was going to lose my mind. Still, though, only 7 HP. Spherical had the weight of the world on their shoulders, and the revive came in from Matcha to bring Crad back to life. There was really only so much you could do, even as a Reyna.
You know, honestly, that's such a high IQ revive. Because if they don't peek, you just get a member back from free. If they do peek, they peek directly into your crosshair. And even worse comes to worse, you just get, you know, the economy back for your arena. They don't have to spend another 4,000 to, you know, full kit back out. And so that was unironically one of the highest IQ, most aggressive reses that I've ever seen from a Sage.
And here's the thing too, right? Matcha hasn't had many opportunities to be able to use their res, and as we're staring down the second half, that poison orb didn't go very far. Neither did Crad either. Matcha! No way! You go in like that and get away with a double kill. Now they get to have some mid pressure. Keck knows what's gonna be happening here. Keck is so lucky. I think it was a wallbang headshot. They're still alive.
I think they just got a little bit too lost in the sauce there. Amazing play to recognize, hey, if they're in dismiss, that means I have a 1v1 for the next 4 seconds. So I have 4 seconds to go find a kill, and dang, did they. Once again, though, UTA gonna work just to play this retake on A site. It seems like they're more than willing to let this aggressive team, you know, use their own resources, get themselves worked out, and then once they're all tired, just put them right to sleep.
And here's the thing too, Loki, they used the lockdown, but weren't in control of the site. Obviously, you know, you want to be able, you can use that to aggress in on there and be able to get it, but they hadn't had the spike planted, and so now UT Arlington has all of their utility. They're going to use a Viper's Nest to be able to go onto site, and still so many opportunities. And with the way that I think the swarm grenades are set up, there's still a really good chance for them to be able to defuse the spike, play inside of there, and go in. Saucy's going to use the snake bite to, of course, get those lineups ready and try to delay this for as long as they possibly can. A couple of shots come in, but Galaxy Vortex doesn't really care. You got to go for it anyways, and the defuse is going to happen.
Last player standing.
UTA is doing such a good job right now of using. Look at that there. Of doing such a good job of using ults that we would usually consider, you know, safer ults, more controlling ults, for aggressive effect and getting people onto site, getting good peeks onto different enemies. This team is just so creative with how they use every single one of their resources.
You really do have to appreciate what they're doing here, and you really do have to appreciate the patience and the discipline that they have in order to make sure they're not using their utility right off the bat. Sometimes it is good to expend an ultimate if you're not sure you're going to be able to win out in the round. And it's a respect for their opponents, no matter the skill level that they're at, is what really helps teams go that extra level, and that's going to help them to go very far here in the rest of the season for EGF. Speaking of going far, Matcha is helping this team to go far with an opening pick. Now we're going to see Crad inside of this Empress get 1 kill onto Keck.
One enemy
Saucy's by themselves. There's nothing that this Viper is going to have a lot of work here in a 1v5, Loki. Yeah, we see the results.
Yeah, that save,
Last round
not quite one of those EGF save rounds that pop up every so often. I love seeing those EGF save rounds though, because I think what really elevates, you know, a good team to a great team is how do you perform during your save rounds. You know, can you win your big save rounds? We've seen teams in VCT do amazing because they have like a 23% win rate on their save rounds, and that's enough to put them over the edge.
Speaking of VCT lock-in, we saw the Saucy has the knife, so I'm a little jealous. I just wanted to point that out real quick. Crad and maybe not feeling any jealousy whatsoever. The only thing they're feeling is that they want another flawless round in their pocket, and they want to close the icebox. This is a 10-2 half for UT Arlington. Listen, Loki, 10-2. Now that's not a score line you want to go into the second half. It's not impossible to come back from. Very, 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 and I want to do it one more time, very unlikely.
Yeah. We've seen stranger things happen, actually. We've seen a team in the EGF come back from a 10-2 to force a map 3 and then win that map. Went all the way to overtime. I think it ended up being like 16-18 or something wild. So it can happen. And Marquette has pulled these rounds out of their pocket. They just need to string together some momentum. Marquette has a great understanding of this stage. They have a great understanding of how they want to play it. They just don't have that momentum right now. And UTA, good lord, they do want to close this out. No hesitation.
Look at how they're swarming onto site too. There's literally nothing to stop them. They just want to go as fast as they can. They want to close this out as fast as they can. I did like what we saw there from Crad doing the duelist thing where you have to go in, try to create space, and try to figure out where exactly the enemy team is hiding. They do get traded out for the air force, but at the very least, UT Arlington was able to set down the spike. And really at this point, you're playing for that site. It's been trade after trade after trade, though. And UT Arlington, Marquette, they're even on the numbers. The only thing they're not even in right now is the amount of health each side has. So now the only person left to stand is Croatify. But maybe if they need to, can make that swing if Croatify tries to get that defuse. They have all of their angles covered, and on top of that, the snake bite is going to force them away. Matcha jumps down to the ground. They're just going to hide out inside the poison orb. There's really nothing they need to do here. The right clicks, though. I was going to say, if Croatify comes out of this alive. Oh!
Maybe that is. I love that plan. That's planted so well. You know, getting it on that lineup where it can be covered easily by maybe, and then letting your Viper kind of, or as I was, by Galaxy, and then letting your Viper run around on site, you know, do some aggression, play it all the way out, and force out different possibilities there is just so perfect. That's such a good way to waste time, where even if you don't have the numbers advantage or health advantage, you're able to just stall it out so that Croatify really doesn't have anything they can do.
It's just going to be another fast push here. There's really no reason not to. They had the weapon advantage. You can see that Crad is going big this time around too. Galaxy Vortex has a Vandal in their hands. UT Arlington is going for everything that they possibly can, but in doing so, they're still getting traded out. Croatify has the shorty, was able to get a kill from there. It seems like the side is going to be just that little bit more difficult. Matcha low, but they're still surviving. It's going to be Crad closing things out once more. The wall comes up. Sheesh, what is this team for UT Arlington? We're now on match point, Loki.
Yeah, off of some of the quickest attack rounds I've seen on Icebox. They, you know, we talked about Marquette playing it aggressively, you know, really rolling through it. Looking at UT Arlington, looks like they're the more aggressive team at the moment. Marquette gonna full buy up all the way to rifles, all the way to full shields. They want to try to, you know, start this comeback now. They need to win 10 rounds in a row. So perfect Valorant from here on out. Every death takes them that little bit closer to being, you know, out of the running for this map.
They're gonna have to go fast.
As we start out, they're still rotated to B site, but the attack is here on A.
Yep. And we saw what Crab was capable of. Look at this, though. Look at what you get when you have the Sage Wall, Loki. You can save yourself like that, and you can give yourself so much room to be able to position yourself. And also, too, on top of that, UT just knows where Marquette wants to set up, where the typical setup positions are for them. And Crad already has an Empress once again in the third round. They give up the Ares, and now it's time to push on the Spherical. You just go for it as quick as you can. Is that a knife? Are we doing this? We really are.
And that's it.
I don't believe it. I don't believe it. All right, there you have it. UT Arlington.
Smack him with the fan, send it away. Great game by there, especially by UTA, to bring that aggression in on the attack and just shut it out right then, right there. Great way to hold the momentum. An amazing performance all around. We talked early on about how insane the duelists were. At the end of it, though, that was a full team coming together to perform.
Yeah, and I mean, we really do have to say for UT Arlington, this is a team we now see why they're number 2. And we knew going into this that Marquette was going to have a tall order ahead of them. We still had to give it to them. They were able to take off a couple of rounds from UTA, which is not an easy feat to say the least, especially when you have members like Crad, Matcha, Maybe, who are putting in so much work and getting some like really early initial picks. Spherical is doing a really good job on that Reyna. It just goes into your mind though, right, Loki? What could have happened if they had a Sage? What could have happened if they had just had a little bit more wiggle room, whether it was going on to B side, whether it was going on to A side? Those are the things that are going to sit in the back of your head, especially on a map like Icebox, which was their map choice.
especially when they had so many opportunities to get onto site and work with it there. You know, with UTA playing retake, they really could have gone for those aggressive plants rather than the safe ones and made it almost impossible to defuse, and then you just play time, especially with the Sage. With that, I believe we are going to Haven next, correct?
Yes, we are going to the beautiful 3-site map of Haven, the standard one, the one that we are all comfortable with, the one that we all know and love. UT Arlington's map choice this time around. So if they did well on Icebox, low-key, I think we can only imagine how well they're going to be able to do on their own map.
Yeah, especially something like Haven, where it really allowed you to find those openings in the enemy team's, you know, defenses with how big those rotations are. We are going to go to a short break, though, as the teams get set up for this next map, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Like this. I 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 like this.
UT Arlington showing us why they are one of the best teams in this league right now, as they taking Icebox in a 13-2 fashion. But now we set our sights onto the second map of Haven, where this is the opportunity for Marquette to stop UT in their tracks. Otherwise, this is going to be another win on the board for UT Arlington.
Yeah, I think Haven is going to be huge for this UTA squad. We've seen how aggressive they can be, how they execute on this aggression. And if there's a map to play quick, it is definitely Haven. It takes so long to rotate from one site to another. It takes so long to really build your defense around anything. So if UTA can just, crack it open like a coconut, get onto the site, get themselves set up for a little beach party, that's exactly where they want to be.
All right. Marquette, what do you have cooking up for us here on your side, and what do we have cooking up on UT Arlington? We have the double initiator looking like coming out from UT Arlington, going with the Sova, going with the breach. Not a bad idea. And of course, still we have the KJ, the Sentinel, to make sure that they're able to lock down the sites. Always a safe choice. Marquette, looks like Southsea's going back and forth. We saw a little bit of Neon, and we saw a little bit of, now we're back over onto the Cypher, but it looks like they want to go for a double duelist composition.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
I was gonna say we don't typically see a lot of that, but I don't necessarily hate it. UTA here. Yeah. UTA here going for a pretty standard setup. I love Crad on the Neon. I think Neon can work well on these uber aggressive maps. Spherical on Phoenix, still love that. I think Haven, with a lot of those short corners, a lot of those smaller areas to play in, Phoenix also does very, very well. I honestly really like both of the comps that both teams are putting up now. The only criticism that I would really have is Marquette playing the Brimstone over the Omen, but if you want to slow it down, Brimstone's a great pick.
Brimmy with the stimmy, always a fan favorite choice if you're not feeling comfortable with your smoke. So we're going to see if the difference between going with the Brimstone over the Omen might put Marquette in a worse position. We know just what Omen is capable of. This is a big map, like you said. Omen has that TP. What does that TP allow you to do? It allows you to go all the way over onto the other side, plant there, and force the scramble in from the defending team. And here for UT Arlington, I think this is even more so what they wanted to be, the attackers, to be the initiators. And I think that's why we see the breach, that's why we see the Sova. It's just such a really powerful combination that's coming out from this team.
Yeah, Sova for the intel, breach to rain it down. I think that's why we've seen a lot of those two initiator compositions so much, is because you really need someone who can do intel and someone who can get people in. Those are very, very different jobs, and there's not really any initiator who can do both of them. And in this macro play, you really do need both. Brim as well does such a great job in these A sewers, who can, he can just close it entirely off. So I really like the setup that UTA has here. As we get started for it, it looks like we're going to see exactly that A sewers play. We already see Crad rolling up this site so quickly with that Neon speed.
Yeah, you throw out the relay bolts, you see if you're going to be able to catch inside of that concussion. The blind is not going to find anybody, and so now it's going to waste just that little bit more time. You saw the molly come through, but our 11C3 was not looking at the right place, and so Crad coming up right from behind takes them out. The execution, Galaxy This is going to be so perfect. Galaxy Vortex is able to get away with literal murder. What is Spherical? Spherical, you got to make sure you keep an eye on them. You have Galaxy Vortex in your backline, who's able to just do this and put so much pressure onto you. Stuck up above is AKEK. I can't even see their health bar, Loki, and that's what happened. Yep, down they go.
I feel so bad for Rice there. Everyone pulls back, but Rice gets left behind. And that makes an easy first blood for Crad, as the rest of their team can just rush onto that site. They did lose 3, so not a great position to be in, but for Pistol, doesn't really matter. You still get your monies either way. And UTA is absolutely ready to buy out that Spectre. Marquette not going to force up this time. They saw how detrimental that can be if you lose your force last time. So instead, just a save for them, and UTA is stacked up to roll over this B site with only one person on it.
And we're seeing Crad, a second round Ares from them once again after winning the initial pistol round. And so I think they just want to go in with a, there's no way. The shock dart gets the kill, Loki.
Shock
Crad
dart.
is just firing spring
Krat's
and
sending it.
praying.
He's
No
still.
way.
They're still going. They're still going.
No
Takes
way.
out the 2v1, and it finishes it out. Marquette down to one person just like that, and they only have a shorty.
Now, yeah, Croatify's is. If I were in Croatify's position too, I'd just inspect it. I'd inspect my shorty. I'd wait to see. I'd wait for people to come to me. Yeah, and now, yeah, this is. That was just a massacre. Unbelievable.
Oof, yeah. I mean, we talk about UTA aggression. There it is, right there. Crad doing an amazing job on that execute, being able to just slide it right in to that 1v2, and really supplant gun advantage as well as excellent recoil control to make it happen. Now Marquette, guns in their pocket. That's the weapon advantage that has turned their, fortunes before. We saw last time the first round they picked up was this gun advantage round, but already Marquette is on B site. Crad looking to send it, not gonna get past ACAC.
ACAC is more than ready to make sure that no one's going to get onto site. They get one for their troubles, but that is going to be it. Macha to try and swing. Not feeling too bold to want to go up against R11. Throws out a couple of shock darts, but this guy is going to be able to stay healthy and alive. The swing does come through. And for our good friend Macha here, looking good. Same for the rest of UT Arlington.
Yeah. Crad dies there, but I really do think they do a good job of opening up that site still. You saw, they managed to get all of the shots out of that breach. And so as a result, they had to go to the reload, and that's an easy kill. That allows Crotify to come in and follow, or not Crotify as I was, that allows Macha to go in, follow it up, make things easy. When you play that aggressive duelist and when you have your team backing it up, you can really make all the space in the world. And even if you don't get that kill, you still get that trade, which is the attacking team trying to get on site. Trades are always beneficial.
And so far for UT Arlington, it's just been so blazing fast on how they're able to execute onto the site itself. Crad throws up the fast lane once more, gets a little spicy on their toes thanks to the molly, but walking on site. Salsi had a shorty in their hand, but that shorty is living up to his. Okay. Oh, what's happening here? What's happening here?
Rice?
There's no way. There's no way that Rice is gonna be able to do this. All right, it's up to Maybe to try and make this work. It's the teleport, fakes them out, gets hit by the blind. Now Rice knows exactly where Maybe is gonna be. We have ACAC hiding on side as well. The swing from them. Is Maybe actually gonna be able to save this? It's the one-on-one duel. They pick up the spike. Keck has no idea where this Omen is so far, but look at what we were talking about here. Loki, you can teleport all the way to C, and guess what? Keck has to do, they gotta walk all the way there.
Yeah, that's easily a good 10 seconds off of this bomb, which is just going to push pace. ACAC, you see them gunning for sight, maybe set up on this little bit of an off angle, and they've even planted for this angle as well.
No way, Maybe.
The movement on this man. Look at that cleanup.
We got to talk about what just happened there, because Maybe played that so perfectly. It really all came down to when they were taking on Rice, and because they won out against Rice, that allowed them to TP over to C site. And this is the power of Omen on Haven versus what Brimstone brings to the table, right? He was able to set themselves up in a much more advantageous position. You draw ACAC into how you want them to be into your trap, right? And so with the way that Maybe played it, top tier perfection. And this is a team, UT Arlington, that has to be really happy with their Omen right now.
Could not be more proud of that insane clutch. And again, we see them using their ults aggressively on site. Person breathing down their neck, doesn't matter. Pops the ult, gets back to the other side into the shadows, doing great work there. Now UTA going for a little bit of a mix-up. They're willing to slow it down, and I think this has kind of left Marquette in a bit of a lurch. Yeah, or a bit of a lurch as I was. They don't really know where to go as a result of it.
Okay, let's see. We're popping neon ults. The laser beams are coming out. And Spherical is going to be feeling that little bit of a jolt in the morning. We're still pushing forward so fast. And Crad, with the speed of lightning on their side, is so angry, so ready to get the kills. Coming out with a 3K. And UT Arlington unstoppable.
got a 3K while being blinded by their own team. Which massive. Thing different is though, Marquette has 4 ults in their pocket. It looks like they might have enough to go for a strong force if they want to. It doesn't look like they do. Instead, UTA just going to be able to continue to assert that gun advantage and continue to assert that bank advantage, as maybe is about to hit the cap, as they haven't died yet this game.
Yeah.
UT Arlington, all right, Icebox was a good map for them, but now that they're on Haven, their own map choice, this is kind of a masterclass in how they want to go about executing these kills. Rice was able to swing through, get one, and really that's all you can ask for sometimes in these save rounds. Do as much damage as you possibly can to the economy of UT Arlington. You're more than likely not going to be able to win, but at the very least, you're able to take something from them here. You're going to use the orbital strike. They are going to get out. At the very least, you bought yourself some times before Marquette. With the kind of buys that they're making right now, I think maybe if holding on to that orbital strike would have been the play.
I mean, it was a good stall. It got everyone here in time, but it's not going to do enough to get them to win. That save round, there's not really any guns to capitalize. UTA is just ready to swing through. Crad continues their amazing play with those slide-ins on the Neon. If you want to learn how to play, you know, the little Vaporwave E-Girl, now is the time to do it.
I have never heard Neon described like that, and that's the only way I'm going to be describing her from now on.
Oh, as a Vaporwave, you know, E existence, and someone who plays Neon, I don't know that there's any other way to describe them. UTA stacked up on this A side, only 2 ults to their name. Marquette, though, fully kitted out, 2 people on site that UTA is going to have to get through, and 4 ults. Still waiting for Marquette to really make good use of a lot of those, however.
All right, Crad, got that fast lane up. Unfortunately, you're not going to go too far, but really, this is what you can ask for from your duelist. Karatify is actually, they see the head of maybe, they see maybe, but they're not taking the shots. They want to make sure that they're going to be safe. And so, safe they are.
Spike
This is
down
actually
A.
Marquette in a really good position to be able to capitalize on this. All right, here comes the first of Spherical. Now comes the second. And Matcha has gotten both of those. Spike has not been planted yet. You've not been able to do that. Karatify knows where Matcha is. And finally for Marquette, they're able to find their first round win 7 rounds in.
They aren't impervious.
So even though UTA lost that, I want to talk real quick about how insane Matcha's movement is. We saw it on Icebox as well. They're able to hit those counter strafes and those stops perfectly. And it seems like their heretical is always in the right place whenever they do. Anytime they go for one of those, like, I'm going to peek outside this door and then just stop plays, it seems like the follow-up shot is always perfect.
That's the important thing when it comes to understanding of Valorant. Some of the fundamentals is knowing how your movement is going to be able to impact your aim. And for players like Matcha, they know exactly what they need to do in order to be able to succeed. We've managed to catch out the trip. In goes the relay ball. Spherical is in a very rough position. I believe they have been concussed by that. But Crad, instead of wanting to fight out there inside of Garage, decides, let's go ahead, get on the site, execute on there, and stay it safe. We'll leave Matcha behind. And Spherical is going to be none the wiser. Karatify to use the Hunter's Fury once more. No kills are going to be happening for them. And now it's going to be an ult dump from Marquette University, as the Seekers are going to be used as well on top of that, giving out all the sweet information. Because you weren't taking care of Spherical, Spherical was able to go onto site, get a double kill. Now the spike has been planted. Galaxy Vortex does throw out the Nano Swarm. It's going to stop things here, but it's a 1v4. And in this kind of position, I don't care who you are, even for UT Arlington, this is a tall order for even the best of players to be able to ask. And there it is. The results speak for themselves.
Yeah, I think they had the right idea there. It looked like they were just trying to stall it out. They knew they couldn't take the fight. They could take the stall. It's just not going to go their way. I think that round goes to show you how important that map control is more than anything else with those post plants. Being able to, you know, shut everything down and not allow any of those big flanks right there. Because if you know, even if you pop all the ults in the world, even if you pop all the intel in the world, if you don't have, you know, enough space to be able to execute on that play, to be able to find those flanks, find those different angles, it's just not going to matter. Marquette, though, doing a great job of aggressively taking space and timing it so well with the ults coming in.
So we do have a timeout coming out from the side of UT Arlington, and I think they want to have a small discussion about what just happened there. You left behind I believe, Spherical watching inside of that room. No, Spherical who's going on the, I can't remember. Someone was left behind. Someone was in there, all right? But they were supposed to be watching that to make sure that Spherical was not going to be the one to get that double kill. So I think from here, they're having a discussion about what just happened, how they're going to be able to make sure that Marquette is not going to have that momentum swinging into their favor. This is what we had the timeouts for. Hopefully they're going to be able to figure that out. They do have a lot of a good economy still so far, though. Galaxy Vortex, little light buy, is not able to buy up full still, though, but still a team that needs to stop this Marquette University winning 2 rounds in a row.
Does look like Marquette gonna start leaning over to this A side as UTA gets stacked up on top of it. And right as they take these aggressive angles, they immediately slow it right back down. Galaxy's covering mid, 2 people in sewer. Saucy not in a great spot, cut off by this smoke, and if UTA decides to push, that will be a 2v1. Not going to do it in time, so the smoke will fade. Depending on how Saucy acts with it, they may be able to just jump right back over. And still, UTA not really making a move here.
This seems to be the timeout was for. We saw time and time again from UT Arlington that they are so aggressive to push onto site. And this is the first time we've seen them not even move. They're not doing anything. They're waiting. So here comes the first smoke. Saucy. Just really unfortunate. The smoke goes down and Galaxy Vortex is just a little bit quicker on the draw there to be able to take them down. The spike has been planted, 2 kills that Marquette University is going to have to try and recover from. As UT Arlington, you see that crap.
My ult's ready.
Okay, Krat. Another one, a second one. Even inside of a flash, they're popping heads like it's nobody's business. Now it's time to go up into the high ground, get the 3rd kill onto AKEC. And there we have it, UT Arlington, flawless.
Fight till the end.
UT
No matter
Arlington,
what.
and especially Crad, is just a 4K machine. Takes the time out there, gets them that, composition back, gets them that order back in their gameplay, and the instant it's there, the execute is so perfect following it. Crad, another, unlimited power Darth Sidious ready to go. And it feels like it's almost about to run away. There's only 3 rounds left in the half. Should UTA win them out, that's going to be a repeat of the last game, which I'm sure Marquette doesn't want to be. Now, looks like we're going to see a bit of a C push as we have 2 in garage. And Crotify, that is brutal, gets killed looking down C long.
Now we have the Rolling Thunder coming in to see if everybody else is on site. Unfortunately for this breach, no one is there. The Orbital Strike as well to try and zone out anybody who's going to be trying to plant the spike, but they're just not going to be able to. AKEC is going to take a lot of damage to the face with that Aftershock, and now it's time to throw in the Molly. We're going to see Spherical. This clone not able to get much out of that because K-Rad is inside of an overdrive, and we saw what this Neon is capable of. We've seen what K-Rad can do when they are able to use his ultimate, but denied being able to go on. They don't even... Okay, they don't even care. They had that ultimate, they wanted to use it, and they were going to use it.
And UT Arlington in a position now to absolutely, roll through the rest of these. Marquette's not going to be able to buy on this one. Maybe some forces. Because it looks like they are going to try. Marquette is going to try to force it. So if UTA wins this one, the next one should be a pretty good conversion, because they're able to just set it right back up and roll it through. And that means they would only be, 5 rounds away, assuming they win the next 2, from seeing a UTA finish.
Okay, Croatify has a Marshall. They were really trying to make sure that they can hold a beautiful relay bolt. That Croatify was just not ready for it. I was a little quiet there because K-Rad, you could tell the anger was there. They wanted to get on the site. They took a little bit of damage for their troubles and not too happy about that one. At the very least, Rice gets away with a Bucky kill, but for Marquette, that's all they're getting away with.
Last round before the switch. Gotta go.
And with that, Arlington is going through these rounds so quickly. Usually we're able to have these rounds and a little bit of, caster one way, caster, back and forth. pass it off to each other. UTA not giving any time for that. They're going so fast they are breaking down the structure of these EGF casts.
They really are. And I mean, look at the score line too. No one on Marquette sitting positive. Meanwhile, UT Arlington, K-Rad is an unbelievable amount of kills on their side. It's a player 17-6 who has been showing out and showing up. Doesn't matter which duelist they're playing, whether it's Reyna or Neon. Another kill on their side. Matcha to use the Hunter's Fury. Doesn't get a kill, but at the very least, gives a little bit of something for Marquette to think about as another kill. Rice has been so deadly with these shotgun type weapons, whether it's a Shorty, Bucky, or Judge. Matcha knows that Rice is hiding there, but they're not going to engage on that. Still though, that Judge, very deadly in the hands of Rice. Now it's all up to Salsi to get the defuse, get the 2 kills that they need. But in the middle of me saying that sentence, Loki, they die.
Switching sides.
Yeah. Very, very close, but sadly, you come so far, but in the end, it doesn't even matter, as you don't even get economy bonus for that, because we're in the next half now. UT Arlington has won every pistol round thus far. They are 3-0 at the moment. And so with that, you got to start worrying from Marquette of how do we break this pistol round, because if they win it, that's a conversion and then a bonus to get to match point, or to get to winning point, I should say.
It's not looking too good. You know, we said it on Icebox, 10-2. We're getting a little bit of deja vu here. That 10-2, it's not possible. It's very, very, very... Excuse me? Croatify. Maybe talking, maybe looking at something. Thought they were safe. Didn't think that Crab was going to make a hyper-aggressive push like that. You always got to be ready for UT Arlington, though. This is a team that's ready to close this out.
It does look like they might be going for a pinch here. Got one person in mid thinking about, if Marquette does aggress onto A, they're able to pull back. If they sit in this spot, they're able to get the intel from mid. And so it does look like at this point they'll probably be able to pick it up. Either a footstep coming through or just a shot. Their turret also watching those doorways to make sure no one gets on site there. Alarm bot on B. And as Rice pulls this flash out, flashes and smokes, that's the warning signal. And you can see there all of UTA rolling through. And already we got Galaxy coming up for that huge flank.
Okay, Galaxy, they've done this once before, and they're going to do it again. They're just going to walk right on side with a Shorty, get one. They're blinded though, so they've been slowed down. But now they just need to go for Rice. There's the reload. Trying to go for the knife again. And that is UT Arlington continue their dominating streak on these pistol rounds.
And with that,
Team
Marquette is put in a very interesting position. Do you go for the force here, try to put overtime, winning through the rest of these rounds, or do you just save for the rifles? It looks like they're also having a little bit of indecision on that, sitting on this buy screen. The save seems the most likely option, but occasionally on the team, we're seeing those shields built and sold. Saucy wants to take it. Is anyone coming with him? Yes, they are.
All right. Marquette doesn't want to give UT Arlington any room to breathe, but this is a similar setup that we've seen time and time again from UT Arlington. Crad going immediately for the Ares on the second round with full shields too on top of that. They're blinded, so a little bit slowed down. This is a duelist who does not care very much about that. Thankfully, Spherical had the drop on them, but Rain was able to bail out their duelist so they can survive for just a second longer. Matcha in the back line, and maybe with the Guardian living up to that name, lands a headshot right onto Kek's face. Here comes the recon drone, catches out Rice. They see them, they know where they are. Now it's judgment time, but judgment has been given to Matcha. All that's left is Rice. Now all that's left is no one.
Yeah, that's brutal, getting caught out on the
point.
utility usage there. Tries to give himself that flash to even it out. Not gonna happen. And now UTA has an extra nice conversion to shut it out right here and now. They did lose a lot more members than I think they were willing to on that one, so they're not gonna have quite the advantage that they want. In fact, I think Marquette may actually be coming out here with the gun advantage.
Yeah, this is actually looking really good here for Marquette. Not the worst thing to be happening to you, especially going into the match point for UT Arlington. It's going to be the question, though. Is Marquette going to be able to use these guns effectively? Can they execute effectively? And it's going to be an A-side push. 3 going up main, 2 inside the sewers. Saucy caught from the aftershock. A lot of damage just maybe shot are ringing so true, but we still got to go and pick up the spike that's dropped down into sewers. Spherical having a little bit of trouble with that. Rain gets 1, flicks around, gets 2. Spherical has the 3rd one in the... Oh, the ace for Spherical was almost there, but Galaxy Vortex puts that right down to the ground. And with that, UT Arlington taking out the series 2-0.
UT Arlington playing off of insane aggression, playing off of absolutely insane execution. We talked about how important macro was, and they absolutely had it down, able to supply their players with easy kills and good matchups, and that brought them a very, very nice win. With that, I do believe we're going to a short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back soon with more Valorant action.